Welcome, folks. I am Jabby Kaway, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
We are watching episode 1 from season 1 of The Sandman. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see a cut-down version of our reaction because we're only allowed to show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture Skoshi for our Japanese viewers. However, if you want to watch the entire thing with us, uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabbyKaway, or become a member of this YouTube channel to watch the whole thing with us. No cuts or interruptions, but you will need your own Netflix subscription so you can open up the episode in an adjacent window to our reaction, and it's like you're watching it with two of your favorite palsies from the internet. Now, if you're watching this on Patreon or memberships already, thanks so much for supporting us here. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. So, yeah, here we go.
I am the king of dreams.
Oh, gargoyle.
When the wake
Oh, wow.
sleep brings you here to find freedom and adventure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In dreams and nightmares that I create.
As powerful as you are here in your realm, dreams rarely survive in the waking world. Nightmares, on the other hand,
That looks like an old school doctor's mask.
I must have dozed off.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just the way the text was. Man, no internet? You just had to rely on books and radio?
That's your thought?
My name is Dr. John Hathaway.
Are you here to see the mates?
I've come to see Mr. Roderick Burgess.
What did the kid ask him? Are you here to see the what?
The mages.
The mages. I wondered for a fleeting moment if they repurposed the house from Umbrella Academy.
It does kind of look like it.
That's not creepy at all.
The Magus will receive his guests in the study, Alex.
Yes, Mr. Sykes.
Oh, the things we did to amuse ourselves before the internet. Seances and what have you.
Have you come to join Father's Order? The Order of Ancient Mysteries.
Dr. Hathaway, what an unexpected pleasure.
If this was a movie theater, I'd be cheering.
Randall was my greatest joy. All this was meant to be his. You brought it. The Maudlin Grimoire.
Ooh.
Yeah, grimoire. You know what that is, right?
Nope.
Grimoires are usually used by witches and warlocks for spells and stuff.
With the spells recorded in this book, we can compel death to return our sons to us. Your Edmund and my Randall will live again.
Have you noticed that it's a little bit squeezed? The image?
I thought it looked... Yeah.
I thought that was just an effect for like the dreamy sort of, feeling, but I noticed it both here and in the...
In Dream, yeah.
The dream world. It's almost like they didn't do a complete de-squeeze on the anamorphic lens.
We will achieve what no one before us has even attempted. We will summon and imprison death. Here, in the darkness.
I would have loved to have gone to the premiere party for this. Like,
Why?
Like The Witcher. Like, that's totally the kind of thing they would have done at the premiere party. Oh, Lord, what happened here?
Oh, God.
No, I beg you.
Oh. Oh, interesting.
And I give you a feather, pulled from an angel's wing, for you to lift up into the heaven.
Where did you get that?
I know. I was wondering the same thing.
Here in the darkness.
He's like, I wasn't expecting it to actually work.
Hold you! We summon you together!
There's a scene just like this in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Got him. Can you imagine if you pulled that off?
That's
You're like,
so cool. It looks like a almost like vertebra coming out of the mask.
Like, as the person leading this ordeal, like, I didn't know it was actually going to work. It worked.
Yeah. No, but I don't think he did think that it was going to work.
Don't break the binding circle.
Yeah.
What?
If they break the binding circle, then he can come out. Right now he's trapped. There's nothing he can do to leave. Because he's trapped by magic.
Why do you have to have his kid do it?
Because he's small.
Good.
Oh, the raven.
That is weird looking.
Before we tell him our demands, guards, watch him.
So he can't leave that circle?
The sleepy sickness, as it was called, affected nearly 1 million men, women, and children in every city, town, and village in the world.
Is this an actual historical thing?
I don't know, but it's part of the story because he's trapped.
No, I understand that part. I just wanted to know if they were contextualizing
I'm not
an actual
sure
historical
about that.
event.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm here to help you. You're gonna need all the help you can get.
Very interesting.
You must construct a sphere of glass inside the circle to contain Dream's physical manifestation.
Wow.
We're being observed. Her name is Jessamy. She belongs to him. Best of luck.
Will I see you again?
You should hope not.
This is weird.
Are you listening?
Wow, he erected that rather quickly.
That's true.
And until you're ready to speak, I'll enjoy the gifts you've already given me.
I can offer you a creepy stare. How about that, buddy? Is that kid gonna let him out?
I'm not telling you anything.
Oh, you read this?
Minds to receive, no mind to give. So I remained silent. And 10 years later...
10 years?
A long time passes.
I'll bet you can do magic, can't you?
Can't do much of anything, really.
You can get me in to see the Magus.
Huh. Nice move.
Manipulative lady.
Seen Nolan Morris? They're nearly half hour late.
I could watch him until they get here if you wanted to go.
See you tomorrow.
Cheers, Alex.
They didn't clue him in about the pills or anything?
Mm-mm.
So now he's gonna fall asleep.
Bad idea, Bears.
And let me guess, in all that time, in 10 years, he didn't hear anything about the pills. And the need to never fall asleep next to him. So then what? Does he inhabit his body?
We shall see, won't we?
Can you imagine being naked for 10 years? No bathroom breaks, nothing.
Yeah.
I've been trying to shoot this wretched bird for 10 years now.
It can't be the same bird, can it?
Did he tell you to say that?
No,
Did he?
Father, he didn't say anything.
Prove it to me. Shoot the fucking bird.
It's a great actor. The way the show jumps forward in time throws me just a little bit when it's not telling you, like... You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. But I mean...
How many days have passed since that party? Because in my mind, it was just one, but...
No, it is just one. It was literally the next day.
Oh.
I think. Or...
Because the way he was calling her, it seemed like she'd been around for a while.
She just needs to break the seal a little bit, and then he'll be free. Oh no. Oh shit. Stay still, he might not notice you. Yeah, just like with the other stuffed animals. Chill.
Oh, she has set the newspaper on fire. I should stop guessing.
Set the house on fire.
Well, I assumed... Oh, it was a paper. Okay.
Oh, smart.
We are the fire brigade. Come on.
Distraction. Amazing. Best ever. Nope. The magic circle.
The kid did it.
No! Oh. I'm surprised it didn't break the glass. Well, you've just pissed him off.
Well, I'm going to have a baby. He wants me to get rid of it. I'm calling the doctor right now.
We can run away together.
I'll be fine.
I could be my baby brother's daddy.
It's not your worry.
Wouldn't that be something weird?
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened. That's right, girl. Get out of there.
Speak to me! Speak to me! If Randall were alive today...
If Randall were alive, he would hate you as much as I do.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god! Whoa!
You're never getting out of there. Never.
Whoa, just like that, huh?
Wow. Okay.
Watch out for that circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you gonna set him free? You did say, if it was in your power, it's in your power now. Are you gonna do it?
What'd your father say?
He's dead.
I could have asked you for wealth or power, but all I ever wanted was to be free of you. Surely you want that too. Take me upstairs, Paul. I won't be coming down here again.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Did he do it on purpose? Mm-hmm. Maybe. Stephen King. Nice.
I was on Corfu and Ollie once. I met this right fit type at the hotel in the morning.
Oh. What about the Kincaid family? Oh, you're getting a little bit toasty. Oh.
You're free.
I am.
It's so cool.
Sleep.
Alex.
More than a century of tortured sleep, of dreams and nightmares running riot, was coming to an end.
He's reshaped this world to look just like me.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's me. It's Lucienne.
That's creepy looking. It's like claws.
Yeah, that's interesting. You see the helm on either side.
The realm, the palace, they are not as you left them.
Damn.
Oh.
Did Thor come through there?
I will not have dreams and nightmares preying on the waking world. I will bring them all back. I will make it again.
First thing I wanted to point out was the main actor, Tom Sturridge. I am unfamiliar with him. This is my first time watching him.
Mine too.
And he reminds me of like a young Jason Isaacs with the voice of Eddie Redmayne. It's the weirdest thing. I have read Neil Gaiman before, thanks to the ACHARA KIRK here. I read, what's it called? Eternals. And the comic was more enjoyable than the movie. So
It's not surprising if Neil Gaiman wrote it.
I was a little sad that Charles Dance died in the first episode because I am a big fan of his acting style.
Yes.
You know, I was gonna say I'm a big fan of him, but I haven't sought out his work. You know, I watched him as a kid in The Golden Child, and then he came back in Game of Thrones, and I've seen him here and there in random things, and now this, and I was like, oh cool, we're gonna get a whole show with Charles Dance all over again. Nope, gone already.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a interesting first episode. So it sets up why there is turmoil going on.
Yeah.
Basically, in the world and in the dream world. And so it's up to our main character, Dream, to sort it all out in the coming episodes. And curious enough, Netflix was like, so there's more going to come here. This is really interesting stuff. We jumped out before the preview took place, obviously. You probably saw that. And I was wondering why Netflix decided to do that, because I've never seen Netflix do that before. I guess it's a new tactic to keep people engaged and like excited.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've been watching Extraordinary Attorney Woo and they've been doing that, but that is something that comes out every week. So that totally makes sense to tease what's happening
next. Yeah, because they dropped all the episodes
All the episodes were dropped at once. But I guess this episode was a little bit slower, which makes sense to me because I haven't read the graphic novels, but I have listened to the audiobook, which is fantastic, by the way. So I am familiar with the story, but not familiar with the visuals, so I wouldn't be able to tell you like, oh my god, that's a frame from the graphic novel, from the comic, right? I remember when I was listening to the audiobook, this whole setup was very slow and it felt long, and so I thought that they actually did a very good job of condensing all of the things that happened into one episode, because coming into this, I was talking to a friend and I was like, I wonder how they are going to do that whole setup, because it was quite long and like very descriptive in the audiobook. And here they just kind of took the main parts and also gave us the Corinthian very early on, because that character, if I remember correctly, doesn't get introduced into way later in the story, but he's a super interesting character. So I'm actually glad the way they managed to kind of bridge those different parts of the story together and bring them together early on.
Well, taking the show on its own accord, without consideration to the book, because I didn't obviously read it. I thought it was cool as a first episode, as a way to sort of lure you in this kind of pseudo Alfred Hitchcock style of like the setup, and you're just sort of waiting for that thing to happen, which doesn't until the very end of the episode. And so all things considered, there wasn't a lot of like crazy visual effects in this episode, except for the introduction of the kingdom. Like the very opening with all the crazy camera work following the bird around and whatnot, that was the crazy visual effects, and then that went away for the most part until the very end of the episode. And I did feel the runtime of the episode, but I can't say that I minded it. I felt like I was engaged with what was going on. It kept me curious as to what was going to happen. Looking at it objectively, I'm like, I feel like they probably could have condensed this down into 20 minutes to get us into the next part of the story, because like you're telling me that this is a condensed version. I'm like, that's condensed?
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me, and it makes me a little bit wary of, reading the book. But I will say that, even though I felt like it was slow and could have been condensed, I did enjoy it, and I didn't mind just sort of spending time seeing the world change as a result of this circumstance and whatnot. Yeah, I thought it was cool. So
yeah, and also, I mean, I was picking up on it because obviously I know what to look for, but there were a lot of really fun little clues about things that are going to happen later, because as you're going to find, a lot of this story is just so interconnected, and characters that seem to be just like minor players in the story will come back, and you'll be like, oh, that's the one from that moment, and this person is related to that person somehow. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's being set up, so I'm really excited to see how they play that going forward.
Yeah,
I was actually surprised with the beginning part when they go into his dream kingdom, because I guess in my mind, I've been listening to the audiobook, right? I didn't realize that it was so beautiful in the beginning. I must have forgotten or something. But I was just like, wow, this is really nice, which totally makes sense, because, if you're having good dreams or whatever, if you're the king of that kingdom, then it would make sense that it would be this absolutely beautiful place. But in my mind, it was always kind of gray somehow. It kind of felt more familiar to me once it turned into the neglected dreaming because he had left.
So one of the things that movies or stories like The Matrix tries to do is explain real world counterpart stuff. Like when you see deja vu, for instance, or when someone thinks they've seen a vampire, they're actually seeing a program that's like glitched out and it's supposed to face deletion, and it just doesn't. The Matrix went out of its way to explain this stuff. I thought that maybe perhaps the show or book, whatever, this story was trying to explain real world stuff. I just didn't know what. Like, I don't know if this ties in even loosely or remotely to anything that actually has happened in the real world outside of like shit's gone crazy in the 20th century. Like things did go nuts with after the Industrial Revolution. I mean, like the world is pretty like bell curvy in terms of just the insanity that's happened technologically and how much we have been like battling with each other on the world stage. It's pretty crazy, right? I mean, we've always had war and whatnot, but I feel like the 20th century is pretty special in that way. And so, I am curious about like just what those ties might be just to history, if there is meant to be any, or if it's completely fiction.
Yeah, because I don't know if I've ever really heard of this encephalitis or the sleeping sickness thing, but that is interesting.
This was like right after World War I, and then coming into World War II and the Great Depression, and so on and so forth. We were dealing with some of the craziest things during that era of history. So I'm guessing there wasn't just this rampant sleep issue where everyone, like children weren't waking up like across the country. I'm sure that, or across the globe for that matter. I'm sure that was not a thing. A lot of times when you're researching stuff for where to place your characters in real world history, you come across certain things. You're like, oh, that's be cool.
That's interesting.
That'd be cool. I'm going to include that and just expand it. And so that's why I'm like, I have no idea what the real world elements are, other than England.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also interesting as well to consider what would happen if suddenly the Lord of Dreams got kidnapped for 100 years. I mean, when you think about it, you're like, well, it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, right? It's not like you kidnapped death, because if there was no death, then the world really would be in big trouble, because, people just wouldn't be dying. It would be overpopulated, and people that were meant to die wouldn't die. I think it's an interesting exploration to be like, okay, well, what if we took the Lord of Dreams? What would happen? And then to have it be like he actually is really important, because sleeping is important, people having dreams are important, and so like you'll see further along kind of what his powers encompass, and he's super cool. Yeah.
I wonder what Tom Sturridge's diet was going into this show.
Oh my gosh,
because it's like he didn't bulk up. Maybe he just did a lot of Pilates or something like that. That makes the most amount of sense, because he's not like bulked, right? He's got muscle, but he's got tone and definition.
He's very lean.
He's super lean, and like he knew going into this first episode at the very least that he was going to be naked the entire time. And so I just wonder how. I guess after a while you just get used to it, but like that can't have been comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. But they definitely got his whole look right. And I love his voice. I mean, obviously, the audiobook Dream was played by James McAvoy, and he has a lovely voice. But I think that Tom Sturridge has such a lovely resonance and silkiness to his voice as well. And just the look. Because in my mind, they always say, in my mind, when it's being read aloud, they always say, oh, he looks like the moon is just like reflecting off his skin, and he kind of glows. And I thought that when he was inside that glass ball, they really made him look like that. There was something really ethereal about the way
like a vampire.
Like a sexy, non-sparkling but slightly glowing vampire.
Yeah, with his hair.
I wonder why I like it, with his dark hair.
With his hair that never changes.
And his sultry look. Although, talking about looks though, he did a really good job of just giving a lot of intense looks, because most of the episode, he didn't say a single word. And so it was just communicated through his eyes and the way he was looking at the people, and particularly with Alex. I thought they did a good job there of still keeping it engaging for us, the audience, even though it was just a bunch of like
intense stares
at the camera, and then occasional voiceovers. But they did well there.
The last thing I want to comment on is just the look of it that they went with, because there was this sort of squeezed element, this sort of squeezed appearance that everything sort of had. And I don't know if that's just there the entire show, like that's a stylistic choice. I've never seen that before. And when you're shooting with anamorphic lenses, basically it's a squeezed image that gets recorded onto the sensor, right?
So when
back in the day, it was film. What?
So when you say squeezed, just
everything looks squished.
Yeah, like everything looks like taller and thinner.
Very much.
Yeah.
Before it was film, now it's a camera sensor, and so when it hits the sensor, it's very squeezed. And in post production, you're supposed to de-squeeze it, and that's how you get the widescreen. That's why you have the black bars on the top and bottom, traditionally speaking, unless they're artificially put there. But that's generally where it comes from, because you have a wider image than the camera actually allows for. And it looks as though they just didn't completely de-squeeze it for some reason.
Unless everybody is that long and thin.
No.
But yeah, it doesn't.
No.
It's something about it looks a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Which
but
kind of works.
I would imagine that's on purpose for the style of the show,
Yeah.
but I guess it sort of threw me because it's consistent in both the dream world and the real world. So I was like, oh, why is that?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of confused me. But I thought that was just a curious thing. And you know, the set design, the costumes, the whole makeup of the show, the production design, everything, I thought so far is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Do subscribe, bell icon, all notifications about this up. I'm Jabby Koei. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.